Welcome to Kidmissing TV. These are our updates for August. I will do our identification last. First one is that, if you recall in our story about the Sauter children, there was a picture sent in 1968 that looked like it could be Lewis, sent to the parents, that is. And experts have looked at it, and it's compelling enough that they found a man under a different name who had been in military service, and they're going to do DNA testing. I think the man is dead. So I don't know if they're going to test his family or if they're going to exhume him. There wasn't much information. The second case is the man who was convicted without a body of the murder of Eton Patz. Or Eton. Eton was 6 years old when he was abducted from New York City, the first time his mother let him walk to the bus stop alone. He was in kindergarten. It was 1978. And it was awful. Absolutely awful. And one man had been accused for years, and it turns out he didn't do it. Pedro Hernandez was convicted. He confessed. And his conviction has been overturned because the judge gave an improper instruction to the jury. Great. And his lawyers said he did not kill him and only confessed because he was mentally ill. Oh boy. Next update is Melina Fratellin. As mentioned, and someone actually mentioned it in my video that I did about her, that she had been found, which I had already mentioned that her body had been found. Well, this update is to tell you that her father has been arrested for murder. Her parents were separated. Her dad took her on vacation to Lake George. Her mom had primary custody, and they were from Montreal, Canada. So we don't know why he killed her. He hasn't really talked about it, so. So that's the update on that. The next update is Derek Percy. He's a child serial killer from Australia. And he is a prime suspect in the Wanda Beach murders that we talked about, the Beaumont children that we've talked about, the Adelaide Oval abductions and presumed murders, Alan Redston, which we're doing a video on this month, Simon Brooke, and there actually was a witness to that, to Simon Brooke. And there is a book about him and all of his victims called Lambs to the Slaughter. Additional victims: Linda Stillwell, Yvonne Toohey, which also there was a witness. And there was a Navy sticker on his car, according to the witness, and they found his naval locker, and it held writings on what he wanted to do to children. And he's been declared, because he's been in jail, unfit for trial, or whatever it is, and he's been declared sane and can be released. Released? The man's a serial killer of children. Anyway. The next update is the last update. Okay. I've got a couple of pages on this one. Excuse me. The Newburyport John Doe has been identified as Anthony Angeli Ray, R-E-A. He disappeared from the Harbor School residential school in August of 1988 in Newbury. He was found in the marsh grass on Interstate 95 south in Newburyport on November 28th, 1992. And he was already skeletal, so he was killed not long after he disappeared. It appears that he was in DSS custody, which they don't call it DSS anymore, but they did back in the day. It's the Department of Social Services here in Massachusetts, but like I said, today it's called, I don't even remember, but it's not called DSS anymore. I know that. Because the majority of the students at that school were in DSS custody, and it would certainly explain why he wasn't reported missing. He was 16 years old. They don't know what his cause of death was, but he was in a marsh just off the highway, so I would say he was killed. He may have walked out of the place, hitchhiked with the wrong person, and was killed. I believe he was murdered. It's just hard to tell because he was skeletal, which would be right if he'd been killed 4 years before. So, my thoughts and prayers with his family, whatever remains of it. It was just an injustice, and not on the police part. So, at least he has his name back. That's kind of the most important thing, and hopefully somebody will claim him. Excuse me. That's what I'm hoping for. That someone will claim him. And he can get a proper burial and have someone that cared about him. Anyway, I will keep you updated on the Fratelloni case, and the DNA. Excuse me. In the Sauter case, and of course, Derek Percy. I've actually worked with Linda Stillwell's sister in a Facebook group to keep him in jail when he was up for parole another time. So, and worked with her on her sister's case. So, this is personal to me. Excuse me. And the Aiden Pat's case, of course. I've got my work cut out for me in editing because I have to put all the pictures up in each of the sections. So, have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you. Excuse me. And I will see you Monday, my birthday. Bye, guys.